And now, broadcasting live from our near-Earth hub studio, we bring you this NBN Special Report.
Okay, I guess we should be starting, right? Oh shoot, that might have been a bit too noisy. Sorry for the very loud McKay. I have been tweaking things, I have been moving things around a bit. You know how it is when you never get the right perfect thing going on. So, we're gonna start a bit early. No, I'm kidding, of course. The timer on the screen is just for, well, general silly purposes. And we're gonna be talking today quite a lot about the updates regarding, well, different things happening around in the world of Netrunner, but not only, and different things happening around the world of the two products we're developing as NISEI, but not only. So there will be quite a lot of interesting information here. Hello to Inner Linkping, hello to New Andes, hello to Greece, hello to Grim. Oh, Grim Heath Wine? I don't know. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but thank you so much for joining. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the stream today. I don't know. I have okay. We have a special guest today. So you know, after the first one last week, I was like, it's cool to have a stream. It's cool to have people over. It's great. You've all been absolutely awesome. And hello there, very good Jeeves. Everybody has been very, very cool about things and whatnot, and then I was like, okay, we need to spice things up a bit. And actually, it wasn't my idea. It's absolutely somebody else's idea, and I'm very happy that they can join us today. And I'm very happy it worked out and that they could actually pick up their coffee and make sure that they're here on time. So yeah, I know scoops. I know. Everybody's using the S word. Like, chill, people. There will be scoops, and I'm gonna shut up in a second. Well, actually, I'm not going to shut up in a second. I'm going to lead the guest into the virtual chat because that's what's going to happen right now. I just have to click a few magical buttons. But in case you've never been here before, my name is Vesper. This is my private stream. This is not the official stream. We might be changing this up in the future a bit, but we're going to be talking about NISEI stuff. And I think I have got a green light, so let's just try and press a few buttons. I'm pressing a button, there is a connection happening. Hopefully, maybe, perhaps. Hello, Johnny, can you hear me?
Yeah, how's it going?
Okay, let me just check the levels. Can you say something else? Can you keep speaking while I check the levels?
Yes, good morning from Oakland, California. Good evening to you in Barcelona. Are you in Barcelona specifically? I don't know.
I'm still in Barcelona specifically. Thank you for checking the time. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to very quickly add some boost to this audio because I may have mentioned this to people on the stream already today, but if they haven't heard that, I'm going to mention it also to you as well. I am testing a new setup, and this is of course all because of the happening continentals, and that might mean that some of the audio is not working properly, but hopefully, maybe, perhaps it's going to work better now. Okay, so if you keep talking, I can probably test if the levels are okay.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm happy to do the stream with you. It's fun. It's enjoyable.
Okay, cool.
I like you. Should be fun.
Okay, I think we have the right volume levels. I'll still tweak things a bit here, and apologies to all the people on the stream, but this is just my fault with the live setup and so on. It's gonna be perfect for the African and Europe continentals happening this weekend, but that's all gonna come later. So Jonni, we can hear just fine according to the chat on Twitch. Please let me know if anything is off. Of course, you're the ears and eyes for this stream, but. No, we have you here, Jonni. We have a special guest. People keep shouting scoops in the chat. I don't know what they mean. do you have any idea what scoops? Yeah, I don't know. Do you have any idea what they mean by the scoops? I don't know. Like
it's a Raisin brand, right?
I would assume so. Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah.
Too few scoops. That's okay. So the thing is, I mean. We've been chatting in the background, like, you know, in our little hidden super secret cyberspace space or cyberspace server as members of NISEI about a lot of different things, and there's a ton of information floating around, and we will definitely be trying to pass on as much of the information as we can without spoiling the broth, so to speak. And this is why you just, you know, you came up with this idea of jumping in, which I really absolutely totally appreciate. And I'm just gonna say this, everybody on the stream, this is Jonni. Jonni, please introduce your role, yourself, what you're doing in NISEI, and then it's all yours. And you're allowed, you're more than welcome, you're absolutely invited to share as much as you want about what it is that you're doing.
Well, unfortunately for everybody, I doubt I'll share all that much that's terribly satisfying, because I don't want to undermine all of the lovely people we have at NISEI who do things like write articles and make formal announcements. However, my name's Jonni. I'm the game design lead of Netrunner, NISEI Netrunner. I work, but that sort of undermines what I do, I think, most importantly, which is I work with a network of other designers in bringing content, originating content for Netrunner.
Perfect. Okay, so speaking about content, speaking about Netrunner, speaking about all those interesting things, and this was the thing last week when I was doing the updates. I was kind of like, okay, I want to share stuff, but then I don't want to cross certain lines, because, like you just said, you don't want to undermine the work of all the different people working on so many different things. And I was like redacting quite a lot, and I wasn't holding back. I was just like, it's gonna be kind of interesting to just not say everything and just drop some, you know, certain keywords here or there, or just say redacted in general. Just, you know, people will try and figure it out. But for this week, you actually decided to come up here, to come over to the stream and just spoil a few names, or spoil a few, well, project, I don't even know if we could call them like code names. I don't know, like,
yeah, they're just what we call things internally as we're working on them. That's all.
Okay, fair enough.
Names,
yeah,
project names.
And
yeah.
then will you be able to say a few more things about those, like what's hiding behind those code names, or?
Not really. I will talk a little bit about it. I mean, just that we're working on cards. Cards will be involved.
Okay, now I can totally hear people in the chat opening up, you know, like their little suitcases where they have their Wayland enemy disposal kit, which is basically guns with silencers, or something, and they're like, okay, we've had enough with this, like, you know, this is it, like we have to, yeah. Okay, well, okay, no, anyway, for people in the chat, there will be a round of Q&A. So if you have any questions for Jonni as the lead designer for NISEI, do prepare those questions. Please do not use the word scoops or cards, because that's kind of spoilers. We don't want too many spoilers here. And I'm just gonna say, okay, so I'm gonna do it in kind of a semi-interview. So right now I will be talking a bit later, a bit more about system gateway and system update. And what can you tell us about these two things regarding your work, regarding what you're focusing on right now, and what the plan is until the end of the year, more or less?
Gotcha. So I'm in a sort of, I like to say, design is sort of in a support role for system update and system gateway, which means that these are products that are very much already, like, you have playtester eyes on them and quite many hundreds of hours of actual playtesting done through our playtest Discord, which of course always encourage people. Anybody can apply to be a playtester. I think that's just like a link we always have up somewhere on our site. to come and help and playtest and give feedback on either shaping the standard meta or just like give feedback on the cards themselves by playtesting them. So we have a team of playtesters who are doing that stuff, and as they're doing it, we're obviously getting tons like pages of feedback, and they're having calls and talking about their impressions and what's working for them in playtesting. And I'm just sort of there to listen to them. Dev is there to, the development team, which is just sort of the people who sort of take the content the design team has made and sort of work with the playtesters to get it into a shape where it'll have, they're basically what I call the gameplay designers. They're trying to figure out what the most fun elements of the designs are and try and highlight those by making them maybe slightly more powerful, finding things that are NPE that maybe we should do redesigns for, etc. So they're the team that's sort of mainly doing everything. I'm just there to listen and offer support insofar as that team needs support. So that's really what I'm doing at Gateway, is a lot of just listening and working with playtesters and some playtesting myself to,
Gotcha.
Netrunner is fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you kind of have to eat your own dog food, as some software companies would tell their developers, like, whatever you're working on, you have to be using it as well. Absolutely. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. So that describes kind of the main two things I would usually talk about in the weekly updates. But there are some other things happening.
Yeah.
And these are the Scoopy Scoops. And I don't know if we have anything to share visually. I'm happy without sharing anything visually, because so just for people on the stream so that they know, we as NISEI, we don't have any legal department, we don't have any PR people that would officially sign off on things much. We do have some quality control, between our different teams when it comes to communicating things out, because we definitely want to make sure that we make ourselves clear as a team of people working on something together. But we're doing this here with Jonni in a bit of a, no, I'm kidding, of course, not a rebellious way, but this was not signed off by anybody. This is just our own deal here with the two of us. So if something goes wrong, no, I'm kidding. Nothing's gonna go wrong. So yeah, Jonni.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you can say, what you can share with us outside of System Gateway and outside of System Update, what would it be? What could it be?
So I mean, we're working on new stuff always. I mean, basically what I do in design is I'm working super far ahead, and part of that is just that design in any capacity on any game, you really have to be the most flexible team, because a lot of what you're doing in design is something that doesn't exist yet. You're originating things. So there's a couple cycles that we're working on. We sort of internally, there's Ashes, of course, which came out last year, and then there's Bashes, and then there's Caches, and then I actually don't even know what would come after that. That's something that we had. There's thoughts of like what that could be called. I think someone gave me a name for it at some point. That's also an Ashes like rhyming scheme name. So working on that.
But then we have Ishes, Fashes. That's kind of weird. And then we have Gashes, getting weird. Hashes, Ashes. I don't know. Like at some point we get to rashes, and that's kind of not healthy, right? Like if we develop too many rashes, I don't know.
Yeah. So we at some point I think we'll have to actually settle on a naming convention that just isn't things that rhyme with ashes. However, yes, that's what we're working on, at least at this point, is Bashes and Caches. And Bashes is actually, for the most part, done in design, which is wild, right? What done in design means is we've done a design. If the name suggests anything, it's going to be a lot like Ashes in terms of the amount of content you can expect. And that product has, I think it's 130 cards or something like this. It might be a few less. That is like dev is sort of satisfied with it for initial testing. So in our internal process, we will, as a design team, put forward essentially like a handoff where it's like, okay, we've done some goldfish playtesting and playtesting with maybe significant others or people in our house. We feel confident about these mechanics. We feel confident about this set of IDs and these concepts, design concepts. And we have 130 or so designs and dev will then look at them and say, you know, they have the most experience in terms of playtesting. They know better than the design team what stuff is just outright broken or probably isn't going to work or what they have concerns about. And they also know, you know, what kind of stuff is going to be super hard to balance and not that rewarding of their time. So they give feedback to us then, and there's sort of a back and forth process of getting that into a state where we feel like it could be in a version 1.0 that the playtesters then get. And, you know, as soon as playtesting wraps up with Gateway, that's the next thing. It'll be ready to go. It'll be the next thing, you know, in the chamber, ready for them.
Yeah,
so
yeah. One thing you just mentioned, I just want to comment on this because I really love the mental image this brought up for me right now. You said that, you know, people are playing with significant others at home, you know, on their kitchen tables, and I'm like, it's so cool to have the game tested and developed, kind of co-developed, or like, you know, like a crucial part of this development is people playing at the kitchen table, because for many people, the experience of a big game that they get into and they continue, you know, like buying into or like developing their collections, like collecting all the stuff and building it up and so on and getting really excited about things. Whoever the designer and whoever the publisher is, if it's like a big scale, small scale, whatever, but it's the bring it home and then starting on the kitchen table, and then they go out into the, let's say, competitive world, or you know, they kind of build a community with other players. But it kind of starts at the kitchen table for many players as well. And I love the image of the game being developed by many people, or like, you know, kind of the feedback coming from the kitchen tables already before it gets released. I really like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, with Gateway in particular, I mean, my partner, she played Netrunner for like sort of on and off for about a year. Like, honestly, I think she did it because I did it and she wanted to be supportive, which is very nice of her. I don't think she likes Netrunner that much, which is too bad. But it was still one of those things where she had kind of not played it long enough that she'd forgotten a lot of the rules. So she kind of got to relearn the game with Gateway. And then, you know, she also had a friend that I got to teach the game to. And then I have some friends from the Magic Gathering community and the poker community who'd never played Netrunner. And I got to play, you know, Gateway with them, which again, you know, is an introductory product in many ways. We're trying to make it a product that if you have a friend over and to play a game and you just want to hang out and play a game, you could bust out Gateway and it's just like the perfect jumping off point for a new player to learn. So we, you know, in the design team, we tested that theory. We played it with new players. We tried to make sure that it was hitting that role. And one of them, you know, we kind of knew it was good. I remember playing with a new player and they used they figured out a synergy in the product and they beat me. And they said, "You're the national champion, right?" And I was like, "Oh, come on, don't give me that." And so they won the game, and then they're like, "Oh, let's play again." Okay. That was an awesome moment. And then later I had a moment with some of the local Netrunner players where they got to do a preview at my place and play test it, and they were like, "You know, the best thing about this is that it just feels like normal Netrunner." But like in a way that's like really easy to understand and accessible. And I was like, "Oh, we did it. We cracked the code." So I'm really excited about this product. I think it's going to be awesome. So, but yeah, we're getting bashes wrapped up. All the, you know, kitchen table is like, you know, we're open source at NISEI. We do the best we can to like solicit feedback from as many people as we can, because that's how we make the game as good as it can be.
Okay, that sounds great, and that sounds really exciting. And by the way, for people in the chat as well wondering, like, why wouldn't I talk about those things with so much knowledge and insight and perspective, you know, because I am a member of NISEI. It's like, no. Everybody at NISEI who's a member of NISEI, they have their own little corner or a big chunk of that corner with a bunch of other people. Maybe they shared and they work together on different things, but I wouldn't stick my nose into anything else right nowadays, like other than just coordinating some production stuff. The OP folks, as lovely as they are, as overpowered as they are, you know, coming from the organized play world with this acronym, you know, they're totally OP. They wouldn't be, maybe they would be interested on, maybe they would be following some things, but they wouldn't be actively involved in 99% of the development or of the design or all that stuff. Everybody has a role, everybody plays a role, everybody's an expert in their field in a way, or trying to be as good as they can be. Like you just said, Jonni, like, you know, we're trying to develop the best thing we can together as a group. And this is why, for example, I'm just sitting here and listening to this, I'm going like, oh, okay, that's great, because there's only so much you can fill your head with as a person. So many facts here, or many things mentioned here by Jonni, are new to me as well. We have a question from the chat that I want to bring up because it's totally like a tangential question, but we have it coming from Zero of Maxima. will Continental Champ cards, which are going to be developed as prizes for the Continentals, will they be region locked or available worldwide? This is an interesting question, and I'm guessing they will be worldwide. What do you think, Jonni? I mean, or what's your take on this? Because you will be co-designing them, right?
Mm-hmm. No, I imagine they'll be worldwide. I see no reason not to. Yeah. So the sort of, I think Gateway has at least one champ card from the before times. I already worked with Whiteblade, set up a call with Whiteblade or a chat, and worked out some ideas, with him and what he's excited about, and got some early concepts down. So, I kind of let the design, the winner, the champion, if you will, sort of take the reins on how, on pushing the agenda of getting their card printed. Whiteblade was very excited to get a card printed and immediately messaged me after, like the next day, I think, after winning, was like, all right, this is what I want my card to be. So, so when there's that much enthusiasm, I say this to anybody who wins a tournament and gets to design a card. If you reach out to me right away, there's a chance your card will be in the next set that I'm designing. Because, in fact, it's like the most likely thing that'll happen, right? Is that we'll get it in the next set. Because that sort of like, when we get it all hammered out, ironed out, etc., like do our little jam sesh.
Yep.
And we get it in the file. Once it's in the file, it's like, it's good to go. We just need to get it play tested and then printed. So, that was cool. But that will, it'll be in a regular product set, which means it'll be worldwide.
That sounds great, and that's definitely along the philosophy of just making the game as accessible and as available to everybody as we can, basically. And I just wanted to mention this because I think I remember this correctly from the stream. I think Whiteblade mentioned that he wants to make a card that's going to level the playing field out, or kind of give Corpse a boost, like a winning condition or something. Don't quote me on this, but I think that was the whole idea behind it.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a win condition. It's messed up. I'm really excited to play test it. As somebody who likes OP corp operations, it's a spicy meatball for sure. I'm pretty hyped to be playing this card. So it was pretty cool. Yeah,
Akira in the chat is already reminding us that he wants to reprint Museum. He said, okay, well,
yeah, we beat out that one pretty quick. That one was like, that's a non-starter. I'm sorry.
Not gonna happen. Okay, well, we have another question from New Andes, and by the way, greetings to New Andes, the streamers from South America who are gonna be streaming the Americas tournaments as well in Spanish, which is gonna be awesome. Is there an expected release date right now for Bashes?
No, because yes, but I'm not the one that makes that announcement. So wait till there's an announcement is what I would say. Again, I don't want to undermine people who are actually doing the product planning and trying to like figure out the release dates for all this stuff. So you're not going to hear it from me, but it's the thing after Gateway. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of going to probably happen after December 2020. That's my no, I mean, of course we don't have so as a production coordinator, actually I could tell you a bit more about this, because the way we're working is we're focusing on the products we have ready right now, in a way, in the pipeline. And right now we have Gateway and Update coming up, and these are the two big things that we want to deliver. Especially Gateway is going to be quite special because it's a completely different challenge in a way. It's a completely brand new thing happening. And you could say, well, yeah, I mean, Ashes was also completely new, and absolutely it was. But with Gateway, we want to also capture the attention and the imagination of completely new players. And that's a set of challenges on its own in a way, which is going to be quite interesting to tackle, or it has been quite interesting to tackle to many teams already. I'm pretty excited about this because it's going to be fun to play from scratch with a bunch of people, that I can tell you for sure, and kind of introduce people to this whole world of Netrunner. Okay, we have more questions. Are you ready for more questions?
Of course.
Are you still caffeinating and like, are you still going? Okay, because by the way, this is super early.
Yeah, I've been awake for like 40 minutes. This is like the most early day brain activity I've done in a long time.
So people in the chat, please press F for Johnny's brain that's, running on caffeine right now mostly, and on great intentions. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. Yeah, you're getting a lot of Fs in the chat. Well, anyway, we have two questions actually. No, one question. The other one is just a comment, which Matt from France, thank you for being with us as well. Is there a new mechanic or keyword that we can expect in the new set? That's the question from you, Andy, as well.
I'm assuming this person means for Bashes.
Yeah, I
Gateway,
guess.
yeah, Gateway won't have new mechanics. It actually has sort of less mechanics than you would expect out of a Netrunner product because it's really focused on accessibility. The expectation I would have for any product that I'm working on as the lead designer that's sort of I view as like an expert product, which means it's like meant for, I mean, every player is, in an ideal world, every product is an expert product and a new player product because we obviously want to keep the game accessible. But let's be honest, like when you're an enfranchised player of a game, you certainly can handle a bit more complexity, a bit more meat on the bone, if you will, of, you know, how the gameplay is. So I would say every set will have multiple new mechanics and potentially multiple new keywords. Bashes, so that's certainly the case for bashes. Multiple new mechanics, multiple new keywords. I think that one sort of thing about Android Netrunner design and Netrunner design broadly up until this point is that it's been a lot of retreading of the design in the core set. For example, we've had traces for 8 years, or however long Netrunner's been around. We've had Link for that long. We've had BP for that long. Tagging, etc. Some of these are more core to the game. Like I think tags, like it's literally on the basic action card. You could never really like remove tags from the game. But you know, I would expect that like as time goes on, you know, we want to keep Netrunner's design space excited and growing. You know, exciting and growing. So like we don't just want to like keep reprinting variations of cards that came out in the core set. Like it's hedge fund, but it costs one more and gives one more or something. You know, like we want cards that come out for people to read them and go, wow, I didn't know that like this, like I didn't even imagine that this could be like a kind of thing that could happen in Netrunner. Like, you know, we both want to surprise people and keep the gameplay new and exciting, you know. I would say if you're going to have a rotation, you should use it, which means you should take risks and chances, and you should see like you should do things that are like exciting, you know, that like people get really excited about, and they see the spoiler of, and they're just like, oh, how does that work? And they have a hard time evaluating it, and they have to play it, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not being as coherent as I'd like to be because it's super early, but the point I'm trying to make is that I'm very much in the design school of it's good to take risks in your design. I'd rather fall off the highest rung of the ladder than fall off the bottom rung of the ladder when it comes to failure. And when you know you do have successes with new designs, you know, we have a great community who will of course give feedback on the successes and the failures, and we have an awesome playtest group. So you know, it's like I feel like there's a lot of support for both trying new things and also making sure that nothing like Mumbad Cycle level horrifying ever happens again, because we have an awesome playtest team working on it.
This is a very nice and clear answer, kind of, you know, just explaining the whole situation, I think, very well. We also had a question in the chat about new IDs coming with any of the December releases, but we had Math already stepping in and just saying, yeah, Metamatic just saying, yeah, there will be one new ID per faction, so yeah, we're gonna get new stuff. One more question. Are there going to be reprints or cycled out cards in bashes or reversions of cards, like, for example, Simul Chip? And are there... Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, I would say Simul Chip. I think obviously the comparison would be Clone Chip, but I think Simul Chip's like a quite new design. It plays very differently than Clone Chip does. Clone Chip's like, you know, it's very unconditional. You just install it, and then for the rest of the game at any point, you could flash in something from your discard pile. Simul Chip actually has a real cost to it, and I think it makes the gameplay around it quite different. It feels quite different than, you know, playing with Clone Chip. It's not quite as powerful, and the gameplay around it, the gameplay patterns, or what I call the play patterns, are substantially different from Clone Chip. So, you know, it's sort of like, it's like splitting hairs. Like, yeah, it's like a pseudo Clone Chip reprint. It's like a weaker Clone Chip. Honestly, if I'm being honest, I'm not a very big fan of trying to make a balanced version of something that already exists in my personal design ethos, simply because I think it's better to just try new things rather than release the same thing with different numbers. I think there's a good case sometimes to do reprints and reprints of certain kinds of cards. Like, I really like Enhanced Edition. I think it's really fun to play with. And I also think that Ashes was a product that was very much a love letter to what we already loved about Netrunner, to sort of remind us all what we all love, and bring us all together around one thing. And I think it succeeded at that. So like, I would say Ashes is actually a good exception to my rule of not rehashing things or like retreading design ground, because I think everybody in the community needed that unifying product to be like, ah, yes, this is Netrunner, right? So that being said, Bashes won't have any reprints, and it won't have any functional reprints in terms of just like the same card with a different name. It's pretty much all new stuff. So look forward to that. That's going to be cool.
And that also, I mean, that also means that, just to comment a bit on this, that also means that people playtesting and checking stuff out really have to pay attention to all the different cards, because if it was just a straight out reprint, it's like, okay, yeah, we know how this works, so we have to see it with comboing with other cards, but kind of this card has been figured out or has been kind of power measured by the community over time, especially if it's like older cards. But speaking of cards that are new, or like mechanics that were new in Ashes as well, we have a question from, and I really hope I read the username correctly, Grimheath Twine. I could be wrong. But anyway, are there plans for any more lockdowns?
I don't think there's lockdowns. So I'll say this. Every mechanic that is sort of on the level of lockdown, which is like a simple mechanic that's easy to understand, I consider that to be sort of an evergreen design within design's wheelhouse. Another one of these types of mechanics might be consumer grade. Mm-hmm. Not that it's my favorite mechanic ever, but I can confirm, I'm trying to get, and we'll see how it playtests, of course. There is a consumer grade card in the sheet for Borealis to, for the product to be tested. So I don't know, we'll see, right? I kind of just scooped the code name of it on accident, but that's okay. Bashes, Mm-hmm. That will be like in the set, like a consumer grade. I don't think there's a lockdown in there, but I want to do lockdowns in caches because I think the theme of the set that we're thinking through really is going to, it's like lockdowns are a really good fit for the theme of that set. Uh-huh. So, all these different things like consumer grade or lockdowns or terminal or doubles, etc. Like these are all just sorts of like mechanical twists on the way Netrunner works, and you can expect to see them sort of weave in and out of every release we do insofar as it suits the overall themes.
Right, and I was going to say, like, the theme for caches should be basically Johnny Cash and all his friends, right? I mean, well, anyway.
Yeah, that's the theme, yeah.
Or the different currencies that, I mean, it's all about cash, like, it has to be cash in it. We have a question we have two questions that I'm actually going to combine into one, because I think they're kind of related. Can we expect a neutral ID or something similar? And then a question kind of, I think, connected to it. Will there be any fuel for Adam, Sunny, or Apex? So the mini factions, and basically, will the mini factions get a boost in the coming sets?
I don't have anything for the mini factions in the coming sets. I think they're great. There's a sort of issue with the mini factions, which is if you sort of think through the rotation schedule, D&D, Data and Destiny is not long for this world in terms of the number of releases that will come out. This is something that's being actively discussed, what the right course of action is for. I can't really say anything about it other than I passionately love the mini factions. I love what they bring to the game. I think Netrunner would be a worse game without mini factions. What that means, we'll have to wait and see for the world of Netrunner, but I hear the mini faction lovers out there. There's just a lot of passion there, and I mean, even some of my good friends, my friend Brian is like a diehard Sunny fan. Like he's played Sunny at like major tournaments, even though like we're like, don't play Sunny at a major tournament, Brian, and he's like, I love Sunny, I'm gonna play her anyway.
Absolutely.
And I've my friend Isaac, who's an organizer in the San Francisco Bay Area. Isaac is pretty passionate about Adam, and that was like one of his early like things about Netrunner that made him fall in love with the game was playing Adam, and he still plays and loves playing with Adam to this day. So I definitely don't want to undermine like there's already so much existing passion for mini factions within the Netrunner community, like with the existing ones. It's a matter of finding out like what is the respectful way to carry on that legacy that lives up to the expectations of what the mini factions could be. Because I think basically everyone who plays the mini factions agree there's some design issues with all of them. In terms of both their game balance, their viability, sometimes even just like how fun they are to play. Like Sunny sometimes randomly turns into a prison deck. I think Adam's probably the best designed one. Apex is borderline non-functional, despite the fact that Apex is my favorite of the mini factions. So, you know, they all have issues. The question is, what can we learn from them? And when they rotate with D&D, what is going to replace them? Because I promise something will replace them in some form or another. They're too ingrained with what it means to be a Netrunner player for them there to not be mini factions. So that's all I'll say about them.
Yeah, I can give everybody in the chat hot scoops that I totally just came up with, and they're totally confirmed and absolutely official. So basically, the next version of Sunny is going to be... what's the name? Well, World's Best Grandma. That's going to be Sunny. So it's going to be like Gabe. You know, Gabe got older, Chaos Theory got older, everybody got older, so Sunny's the same. So she's just going to be a grandma. Apex is basically going to be Windows 11, I think that was the idea. And then, oh, I said it on stream, sorry. Sorry, Microsoft lawyers. And then for Adam, I think it's going to be Eve, basically. Everybody remember Eve campaign? Well, she got a bit angry as well, and she wants to have her own identity and so on. So we're gonna have Eve campaigns actually turned into Eve, the runner ID, and she's gonna start the game with what 16 credits on her, and then get 2 credits each turn or something like this for the first 8 turns. I'm not sure, but anyway, that's gonna be it. Yeah, so that's basically the story. I already thought we were printing these. Like that was my assumption. I already anyway. Yeah, I mean the comments. The comments
more scoops than me.
Yeah. So yeah, I totally stole this from the super secret folder on the super secret server, of course. And by the way, if anybody ever thinks that I should design anything, you have to stop drinking too much coffee or being too optimistic. Like, I'm happy playing a game, that's about it. But I do appreciate the sentiment, dear folks in the chat. Okay, we have some more questions here. I mean, are you still okay with questions? I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
I mean,
you know, the moment you feel like we're spoiling too much, because there's also one other thing we want to mention, and it's a project, but maybe the project can wait another few minutes, and we're going to mention it a bit later. We have questions about... I'm thinking... Oh yeah, no, actually people are just wondering about rotation affecting... So yeah, you mentioned that in Destiny, but basically what is going to be rotating out with... Is anything going to be rotating out with System Gateway or System Update, or is Bash is going to be the next thing that's going to push things out of the card pool?
I believe Gateway will rotate stuff. What is not coming? My brain's, it's too early.
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure that information is somewhere online already.
Yeah, I think we said in the announcement that we recently did what's rotating, but check those articles. I don't remember.
Exactly.
The problem is I don't remember all the names of the cycles. I have like a sheet that I use when I'm doing like planning for the future that says like what we plan to rotate with what, but like it's not in front of me.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it started like what was the first ever cycle in FFG's series of Netrunner cards? I'm trying to think about the name because it was the lunar cycle, right?
Oh no!
No! Wait, no! It was
that was the second one. I thought.
No, it was it was something else. People are gonna fix me. Genesis, yeah, thank you, Akira, the walking encyclopedia of So Genesis. So then it was after we have Genesis. Ionesis. At some point there was Nenesis. Yeah, so everything basically that rhymes with Genesis was the next set. So yeah. No, it was Spinacis, Lunarisis. Exactly. So all those things are going to be rotating in the order of their Enesises. So yeah, Genesis was the first one. Although it kind of sounds, I don't know. I mean, I think they're not playing anymore Genesis. So, you know, they kind of rotated themselves out. Well, anyway, bad puns and musical jokes aside, I'm looking if there are any other serious questions. Wait a second. Oh yeah, Anarcho Mushroom is asking, kind of related to the mini factions, we've never had Global Seg represented as a card or ID. What are your thoughts on a Corp mini faction for Global Seg? A Corp mini faction, that's an interesting thing.
I know, a Corp mini faction. This is something I've thought about quite a lot. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, so
I've put some effort into this, some mental energy into what a corp manufacturer would look like. And I think the two are Global Sec and Melange Mining are the two neutral ones.
Yeah.
That I thought. So, and I did do like anything, like a lot of what I do is I spend a lot of time just like designing things, and then most of it never comes into existence. I just design them, and then not ever, like, you know, only 1% of anything I ever work on I actually feel confident enough to sort of like put forward. So I've thought about it. I think it's a really cool idea. I think neutral IDs in general are, I'm shocked there isn't at least a couple of them already. It just seems like an obvious low-hanging fruit. But, you know, if we have an extra design slot, you know, in a file, I'll try to remember to maybe do a neutral ID. That sounds enjoyable.
Yeah, I was going to say, just in case anybody in the chat is missing playing neutral IDs or neutral corps, sorry, there's this little board game that's kind of fun because you get to play corps, and you can play Melange Mining, and you can play Global Sec there, and you can basically, for example, hire Jackson Howard. He's there, he hasn't rotated. New Angeles, it's a very fun board game from Fantasy Flight Games. If you like the universe of Android, I can personally recommend it as a great 3 to 6 or 4 to 6 player game. Pretty cutthroat. You get to be the CEO of a corporation and just do terrible things in order to just, you know, push your agendas and whatnot. And there are no runners involved, I think, although I could be wrong. I haven't played it in a while. It's been
runners.
Yeah, so exactly, you just get to be corpy, that's it. And you just get to corp left and right and just be corp all over the board. Okay, I'm looking out for more additional questions. If we don't have any questions, I'm gonna drop the big one now. So what's with this project that starts with the B? What can you tell us?
So there's bashes, which we've talked about a little bit, and there's caches, which is sort of in the early design phases right now, which is sort of like there's some designed content for it, but the main thing that we're sort of all trying to figure out is what are the big marquee mechanics of that set. And when I say marquee mechanic, what's like, you know, I always say the way I describe it to, you know, everyone, I try to describe it as, you know, when I don't know if you were a kid and you went to a game store and you picked up the game and then you looked on the back of the box. Or like, even like if you go to a bookstore and you look at the back of the book, usually there's like some quotes, some screenshots, 5 out of 10 IGN, like 5 out of 10 LOL. Like 5 out of 5 IGN, whatever the case may be, and it sells you on it, right? The thing I always like to start with every set is what's on the back of the box. When the kid picks up the box and looks in the back of the box, what do you see that makes you go, Mom or Dad or whatever, can I get this, please? You know, like gets you excited and amped up about it. So that's where we're at with caches. The project after that, we're calling Project Bijou, which I can't really tell you anything about other than it's called Project Bijou, which is something we're working on. Look forward to that.
So I'm just going to tell everybody again on stream who's wondering what Project Bijou could be about. It's set all in France, and basically they're trying to build up the Eiffel Tower to be the next beanstalk as well from France, and they want to make it as expensive as possible. It involves a lot of good wine, great cheese, amazing people, great culture, and you know, and a lot of flavor text is going to be about cooking. I'm just saying, and theater. So that's basically Project Bijou. But yeah, and honestly, I have no idea whatsoever. What you can, if somebody's sending their team right now to extract me and then torture me using, I don't know, like threats of no ice cream, you know, until I tell you something, I have no idea. Seriously, like better give me the ice cream and maybe I will come up with something. But I have no idea what Project Bijou is about. So this is quite exciting, and I'm actually calling out people in the chat to just say, if you have some ideas, drop them in the chat, because who knows, maybe we're gonna pick it up and adapt it. You know, like, well, I'm kidding, of course, I don't know. But one thing, one of the final things, if we have more questions, of course, in the chat, I'm going to bring them up. But one of the things I wanted to, oh yeah, there's a question as well, so I'm going to bring it up in a second. But what do you Sorry, no, the other way around. What are your channels of interacting with people outside of the design team and outside of NISEI? Like, are you in any way listening into people? Are you gathering feedback? Are you, like, just to kind of have a feel and a kind of a vibe of what's going on with Netrunner and maybe other games as well? Like, how do you, like, where are your antennas directed? What do you get inspiration from?
So I don't know how many people know this about me. So I guess I'm a career game designer as well. So like, this isn't the first card game I've designed. This is the first one I've been a volunteer of. And, one thing I always tell people at NISEI too is, it can be hard to work on a 50+ person volunteer based nonprofit, keeping this amazing, incredible, in my opinion, the best card game ever alive. And that's tough. That's a lot of work. It's not easy for anyone. All of us have lives outside of Netrunner and NISEI, believe it or not. And in many ways, NISEI is the first organization that is a nonprofit game company that is focused on delivering an accessible, like basically what we're doing is we are delivering accessible, well playtest, well designed, beautiful art, beautiful frames with a massive OP system, streaming, etc. Everything that you would expect from a professional company, and we're doing it as a team of volunteers, and that's just sort of like never been done before. So in like a very real sense, we're learning about what we're doing along with everyone. Like we're figuring out what works for our community. Like you started doing these streams. I think this is awesome because, I hope other NISEI people bother you to get on the stream as well and talk about what they do, not just me. Because I think that this is an opportunity that a lot of major companies would just say no. They're like, what? No, don't go talk to people. Like you might say something silly and people will hate you, or like it'll make the company look bad or whatever. But we're open source, like we're the runners won. We overthrew the corp and now it's ours. So we should enjoy the privileges that come with that and be open and honest with each other. And people can always ask me questions. I might not always tell you everything you want to know, but most of that has to do with not undermining other teams. It has very little to do with my desire to keep things secret. I do think that it's nice to keep some things secret because surprises are very fun. But a lot of that. So to actually answer your question, yeah, I mean, I read everything that I can. I follow subreddit. The subreddit actually has a lot of people on it that don't really post in other channels, but they are people who buy NISEI things. So I try to read that because that's an opportunity. There's Green Level Clearance, which is like a beginner player Discord. I actually spend a lot of time reading comments on that because, in something like Sim Slack, these are actually a lot of people who are friends of mine, and I kind of know their opinions on things already.
Yeah.
And like also the playtester Discord, which has a lot of expert players. So to answer your question, I try to get feedback from everyone. One thing I do internally is there's a general game design channel in NISEI, and I post designs that I'm working on. I can. Like as much as I can, just so I can be like, hey, I had this wacky idea for a double-sided unfolding corp ID that starts with a remote server installed. What do you guys think? And people are like, you have truly lost it, and I think we'll need to find a new lead designer. I'm kidding, but I'm always like trying to like solicit feedback and like and one thing I do, I encourage people to check out my Twitter. If you haven't, I can post it in the chat. I post like every week or so, I'll post a Netrunner design challenge, and there are cards from that Netrunner design challenge that are in bashes. Like someone came up with a really cool card idea from one of my design challenges, and I was like, this is so perfect for what I'm currently working on. I'm going to use this. And I asked them, hey, can I use this? And they said, yeah, please use it. Right. It was a really cool design. And now that's in the game. That's what I mean about being open source. It's awesome. Like when I post these things, I like to let people like contribute in whatever way they can. And like, I hold everyone to the same standard I hold myself, which is 99% of what I make is not good and not well thought out enough and not really where it needs to be. But some of the stuff that people come up with is really good. And why would we not use that? Would be that'd be foolish.
I get you. Yeah. So we have people in the chat asking for your Twitter. I hope that the chat folks can figure it out themselves, or you're actually going to post there. There you go. There you go. You actually just showed yourself in the chat, right? So
Yeah.
watch out.
That's
This is Johnny in there. You can throw all the questions at Johnny now. We're finishing the stream right now.
This is actually my other Twitch account. I have two Twitch accounts. One is for I'm a Richi. Yeah, it's a Smurf because I'm a Richi Mahjong player, which is an awesome game, by the way. If anybody wants to learn how to play Richi Mahjong, I'd be happy to teach you. Richi Mahjong, there's like a big community for it, and I'm actually running a live stream for that game community this weekend on the,
Cool. That sounds nice. If only we didn't have any Continentals this weekend to stream, I would probably just tune in. No, I mean, I'll definitely check it out because I only know Mahjong from like the the Windows/computer kind of solitaire variant, and I know this is not the game at all. It's just
it's like it's a 4-player like card game basically.
Exactly. So yeah, we do have Chris in the chat saying Richie is a great game indeed. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out. We do have a question that I think I'm gonna bring up, and this is gonna be the last question because then I have some updates as well. But let me just scroll up because there's so much stuff in there, which I'm really happy the people in the chat are having a great time with us. And by the way, if you were asking people in the chat, if you were asking questions about like the universe, the themes, the geographical regions and so on, what Johnny mentioned about me getting other people to talk on stream about this, we have teams, creative teams that are working on the story, the flavor, the themes, the characters, all the colorful background to the game itself. So I hope to get some of them to talk a bit more about this in the future, in the near future. So if they have the time, if they have the energy to do it, and then we will talk about all those things like the themes and so on. Today we have Johnny, who's the lead designer, so I'm not gonna bother you with questions about what you think about adding penguins, for example, to more cards, because penguins should be in every card, to be honest. But
yeah, agreed.
I'm just scrolling up here and trying to find that question. Should have copied when it appeared. Oh yeah, I think this is a very nice question to kind of wrap things up with. What design space would you say has not been explored in Netrunner that you are interested about?
I mean, there's infinite design space in the game. It just depends on what direction you want to take the game in. For me, I just mentioned like some bananas idea a second ago of like a corp ID that comes, but it's double wide because it has a remote server installed with it or something.
Oh wow.
What about like an ICE that you res and then it's like installs an ICE in an adjacent server from like outside of the game in like a secret extra deck? What about like there's like so much stuff. Like I could just sit here and rattle off weird little like ideas that like tokens. I don't know. Like there's so much stuff. Like and that's not even just like talking about like new keywords and just new generic mechanics. So there is a few different categories of design space. There's like a new card type or something. Like that would be like a wild thing. That would be like that's something that you would put on the back of the box, right? That would be like a marquee mechanic for a set, is like doing a new card type. So to answer your question, in the vaguest terms possible, there's just infinite things you could do. The question is more, what do Netrunner players want? Combined with, how can the design team challenge Netrunner players to grow and see more of the possible design space within Netrunner and be excited about new and exciting things rather than be sort of satisfied with like the same old thing. And I'm a very big believer that it's not the thing you should be afraid of as a game designer is boring players. Be afraid to bore people. Never be afraid to challenge people, to surprise people. And what that means is sometimes you do things and not everyone likes it. Some people are like, this is too weird for me, or like, I'm not a huge fan of this mechanic. It's, this is what I call polarizing gameplay design. Occasionally designs are polarizing, but I think even that's good because it means some people are being challenged by the design. Some people are just like, you get like a lot of reactions on an emotional spectrum about what the design is bringing to the table. And I would definitely much prefer the community have, 2 a.m. SimSlack arguments over a mechanic than be like, oh yeah, this is okay. Like this is a Netrunner mechanic, right? Like the reaction I want players to feel like they're engaging with the products we release in a way that's like, they see it and they just like don't want to stop talking about it because they hate it so much or they love it so much or they think it's super broken in Atom or whatever, right? Like I want like design to be the originator of passion and love and controversy and discussion and everything, because I think that like as a lifelong card game player and like someone who's played every card game under the sun in terms of like all the mainstream ones, at least from Yu-Gi-Oh to Pokemon to Magic to Kaijudo, like I've played all these games. I've played poker and mahjong, which are all card games. I love card games.
Yep.
The most fun thing about card games is talking to your friend about card games. So it's like that originates from design. Design has to give you something to talk about. We have to be there to give you things to be excited about, things to hate, things to love, things to, things that aren't for you and things that are for you, right? So it's like a tall order, right? That's the skill of being a game designer, I think, is especially in card games, is understanding that like not every card is for every player, but I do my best to understand what Netrunner players want so that every set has at least some of what every kind of player wants. It's difficult, but I try to do my best.
Yeah, that's a really, I think it's a really great answer to a very open-ended question, because like you said, like infinite space, I totally agree. Like, there's just so many ways you can expand even the existing card pool, like, with just some themes that are already in there. You can add a ton of different stuff, and I really love the ideas you just threw around, like, like the corpse with built-in remotes and stuff. It's like, what's going on? Like, how to wrap your head around this. But there's just so much stuff you can do with it, and I think like even on the just let's say the organized play side or the kind of alternative format side, there's a lot of ways of tweaking what we already have and kind of letting players play around with the existing card pool and the rules we have to just explore and just see how things work and limit some cards or remove them or whatever. This is what the MWL or the ban committee, I think that was the new name. But yeah, what the new ban list is all about as well. It's like opening certain options up, taking some options off the table as well, and so on. And I think, I think we still have some questions, but I mean, we're running out of time here in a way, because I will have to go somewhere at some point, and this is all, like I wasn't planning a 2-hour stream. Plus, you should have a morning to yourself. So I think if you're eager to come back, which I would love at some point soon, maybe like no, I'm kidding, not tomorrow. Like we're gonna let you sleep, but let's totally make this a thing, and let's not have this as the last one. I'll try to get other people on the stream as well to talk about stuff if they feel like it. And thank you so much for taking the time for this, because this is just amazing. Like this is great, and I'm really, really grateful you could take the time to come over with the coffee, which is very important.
Very important, critical.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't have happened without coffee. That's the MVP of the stream for me.
Absolutely. So for people in the chat, if you want to interact with Jonni like one-to-one, there's a Twitter account. You also have Jonni on, where they reside on Twitch. So just check out those Mahjong streams for sure. And yeah,
you can find me on StimHack Slack. My username is Joseki, Joseki.
Yep.
And then I'm also on the Organized Play Discord. I'm on Green Level Clearance. I'm on everything. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Slack. I mean, anybody is welcome to message me and talk about Netrunner with me. I'm not going to tell you anything I wouldn't tell anybody. So keep that in mind. You're not going to get scoops from me per se. But I'm happy to talk about what I think. And, again, one of the awesome things about being kind of open source is that everybody at NISEI can talk about what they're working on in sort of on their own terms. Like, again, not trying to undermine other people's work, so I would never say too much.
Absolutely.
But I do my best, and if people just want to talk about Netrunner design, I'll talk about Netrunner design with you.
Thank you so much for opening up for this, because this is, I'm pretty sure there will be quite a lot of people interested in this. So apologies for the fire hose you're gonna get soon, like it's just gonna happen. Hopefully not, but yeah. Thank you one final time. Thank you so much. I'm not finishing the stream just yet though, because people are like, oh, thank you for the stream. Yeah, that's great, but I'll be going on. So Jonni, I'm gonna be signing off from Discord right now, from the other channel.
Great.
Hats off to you. Thank you. Have a great day with the coffee. Enjoy, and yeah, talk to you soon, one way or another.
Yeah. Take care. I'm sure I'll see you around.
Yeah. Thank you. Take care. Okay, so that was Jonni. It was a surprise indeed, because we weren't really, how to put it, this was not planned in any big way whatsoever. It was just Jonni coming over and saying, hey, how about I come on stream and I just talk about a few things and, you know, like maybe drop some interesting info in and get people a bit excited about stuff and maybe drop a name like Project Bijou in without saying what it is. I'm like, yeah, sure, what is Project Bijou? So I know nothing, seriously. And we're not finishing the stream just yet. We are not finishing the stream just yet. So yeah, Bakaseki, that's Jonni on Twitch. And yeah, do follow up with them if you're interested with, you know, like in learning more about how design works and so on. Of course, don't give them too much trouble because, hey, there's only so much information one can process and answer, so leave our lead designer alone for a while, you know, like they have to work on stuff still. Oh, New Andes, thank you so much for being with us. By the way, New Andes on Twitch, a great Spanish language Netrunner stream. You should totally sign up if you want to see new content in Spanish. And not only, but like mostly for Spanish speakers. It's great. It's loads of fun. They're really fun to watch. They have a lot of interesting insights. They have a lot of passion. And I'm going to be mentioning them later on. But I only have around 15 minutes on my schedule here right now because I will have to jump off. Usually it would be an hour more or less. But I have some things to deliver. So, and I mean delivered to you as information. First, a bunch of... so what's still left on the agenda today? It's a 4-2 agenda, by the way. There still will be some system update news and some system gateway news regarding the teams working on different stuff. So please stay tuned for that, if you're interested, of course. But now I just want to mention a couple of things. First of all, on the Netrunner subreddit, we have a monthly thing... put together by Unpopular Mechanics, who's one of the mods. And basically we have a July 2020 update mentioning a ton of stuff. So this is a great thing. If you're on Reddit, you know where to find it probably. If you are not on Reddit, do take a look because this is a really cool initiative by the community on Reddit. It's great to see them trying to get people together a bit around different themes, and it has quite a bit of traction there. This post, there's a lot of interesting information about creative projects, about the custom card Mondays, which is a great thing happening on the subreddit, and it was mentioned by Jonni as well as one of the sources for, you know, like interesting ideas. The live streams that are up, the podcasts, and we still have the kitchen table folks going strong, and I love them. They're absolutely awesome. All the Discords, and I'm going to be talking about Discord very quickly as well. And yeah, mentions of a certain Continental series happening, which I'm going to be bringing up to your attention as well. Speaking of Continentals, if you were watching the Continentals streams last weekend, so I mean the Asia Pacific Continental streams, and you were raffled, a prize. So basically you were chosen in the raffle to receive a prize. We still have some people who did not give us their details. So if that was the case, you should have gotten a message from us on Twitch at least, basically on Twitch chat. So do check your, well, you're not logged in probably right now, but if you were, do check your Twitch chat, do let us know, answer the question basically, which is send us your address and name so that we can send you stuff, unless it's digital, which there are a few cases of as well, so we can deliver it digitally. But in general, we are still missing a few people who got prizes in the raffle. So by all means, do check your Twitch messages and reply to us if you got a message from us about that. So that's the part on the subreddit, and there's a ton of stuff on the sub happening as well. I use Reddit quite frequently for different reasons and for different sources of information, and the Netrunner subreddit is definitely one of my faves to check on. But also, we're all on Discord, and you may have heard, you may remember that there will be this big merge happening between the Netrunner Discord server and green level clearance. Excuse me, I have trouble pronouncing green this late in the day because my coffee already ran out. So with the green level clearance server, there are two very important channels you should totally follow. Net Punning, which is the most important channel of all the universe because it's basically great puns. If you like puns as much as I do, it's the best place to be to be a cyber pun. Anyway, and then there's a new channel opened recently and opened by Dan B, who's a member of NISEI, and this is the NISEI-official channel. And generally, it is a channel for, well, I mean, how to put it? It is a channel for communications, direct communications from the NISEI team. So only the NISEI team members can post in it, and Danby is the primary NISEI contact. But basically, this is just to make sure that any big announcements that we want to make hit you also on Discord. Like that, if you're only a Discord person or if you hang out mostly on Discord, you're just gonna see, you know, news, updates, reminders, stuff about tournaments, all that stuff. So definitely sign up for that if you are on the green level clearance. Do make sure that you get the notifications. You could get some interesting information. There might be some scoops there as well, maybe from time to time. I don't know. Maybe there's going to be a special scoops Discord server where all the people are going to run around and just shout scoops, 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 scoops. So that's it. I mentioned New Andes, which you should totally subscribe for on Twitch. I mentioned the subreddit monthly thread happening as well. I mentioned the GLC and the official Discord channel. So now I think, without further ado, I can totally hop over. Oh, what is a GLC, my precious? Green level clearance. It is a Discord server, basically. If you use Discord, you should totally jump in. If you don't use Discord, consider using it maybe, because it's a really cool tool for voice comms. And not only, and many tournaments are using either the NISEI Discord server or their own Discord servers for their communities to run this. Okay, so now it's time for more scoopy scoop. Well, not really scoopy scoops. It's going to be more like, now it's time for cool things that I'm going to share with you regarding things that we are working on. So let's just very quickly jump into that window. And I'm going to be sharing this with you a bit in a second. I just want to make this zoom in. I hope it doesn't break. I actually have to click some buttons to see if it's gonna work. No, and we ran out of music? Is that possible? Jeez, I'm totally gonna put the music on again. Sorry, this has been a long stream, huh? I wasn't expecting it to go for so long. By the way, the music, Trip Mirror from Belfast, great musician that puts together all those cool theme tunes named after cards and whatnot and factions and so on. Do check it out on Bandcamp. It's on the page there. You can see it. And actually, well, yeah, if you want, you could check it out right now. But I'm gonna be jumping to a different page. So I'm just gonna transition to a different view. And here we are. And this is gonna be shared with you in a second. But basically, we're gonna talk about system update now and updates on the 3 different fronts that we have. Updates for you. You may have seen the one, the trailer for week 29. We're gonna be talking about week 30 today, and next week, guess what? Week 31. Well, anyway, let's just jump straight into it because, like I said, I don't have a ton of time. I have to move around. This won't be scoops. There will be just basically stuff mentioned that you may not know about or you may already have heard about. Oh, you can see the cursor here. This is so bad. This is so unprofessional. I should have changed this. Well, anyway, let's not worry about it too much. Let's jump into the game development and playtest parts, although I still am going to click a button very quickly to make sure that things work properly on my side of things. Okay, here we go. So, game development has not finished anything significant this week, which is okay. I mean, that doesn't mean that they're not doing anything. They're just working on testing of system update. So for system update, there's a lot of work happening, but there's nothing new to report in terms of finished stuff that's ready to just, you know, put a tick on the box and so on. Playtest, same thing. A lot of testing going on. You heard Jonni talk about the way design works and the way it's all about playtesting a ton of stuff all the time, and this is exactly what's happening right now. Basically, yeah, they're working on the playtesting parts, and they're in conversation with game developer, the game development team, which basically is, well, Jonni and the crew, about the new corp IDs. Conflicting opinions and reports about the potency of a new Jinteki ID for Gateway. Jinteki is making things difficult for people designing the game or testing the game again. Spicy and spiky, probably. And if you ask me what kind of a Jinteki ID it is, I have no idea. I have no idea. Anyway, also, due to the Continentals happening, and they're gonna be happening for another 3 weeks, or 3 weekends, remember, playtesting really dropped in the number of games they can pull off, because guess what? A lot of the playtesters are actually very interested in playing the Continental Championships. So, you know, that just happens. And also there's very limited available testing time, so Gateway and Update both have to be taken care of, because we're releasing both of them in December. So that means there's only so many playtesters, and this is going to be an echo of what Jonni mentioned earlier. If you want to playtest for NISEI just sign up. You know, find the link. I can post it later in the stream, in the chat, or people, you know, people from the chat who know the link already, please post it. I'm going to be going through this list, but please do sign up for playtesting. It's a lot of interesting work. If you love the game, you can learn a lot. You can get some behind the scenes information, maybe a bit before it hits the street, so to speak, but it doesn't really give you a competitive advantage because what you're going to be working on still has to be signed off on and whatnot and decided and so on. So there's a lot of stuff in the process, but it's definitely exciting. And if I had more of a Netrunner brain myself, I would totally jump into it, but there's only so much I can pull off with my batteries, so to speak. You know, I have a big head, but I don't have... There's a lot of it that's kind of, you know, filled with other things that are not Netrunner, basically. Game dev is planning to finish 90% of the list for system update by next week. So there's still around 10% of the cards kind of floating in the kind of void in a way. But what I mean by this is they're still being actively worked on, but 90% of the list, so 9 and 10 cards, will be finally decided on and just locked down and just like, okay, this is what we're going to use, that's it, this is the final version, or the final dot final slash final dot v5 version, but definitely final. So this is the update. These are the updates from game development and playtesting. Now for arts and graphics. So what are they working on? Around 18% of cards, looking at the numbers of course, left for update to finish at this point. So 4 and 5 cards are finished, so that means that the art is finished, that they're ready to be printed on the art side of things. That still means they have to be put together and proofread, and of course there has to be all the flavor text added and all the cool stuff and whatnot, and the icons and everything, like all the stuff that makes a card that you actually put on the table and go like, yeah, I just played this, and your opponent's like, oh, you played this, okay. So yeah, that is still going to be in the process down the pipeline, but for the art itself, for all the beautiful images you see on the cards, yeah, 4 and 5 cards for update, kind of ready. Yeah, so we're kind of there, we're getting there with the art. And one of my favorite ways of putting this, and I did ask and I did get a confirmation this is the best way of doing it, and I totally agree, because if I gave you the names of the artists, or if I gave you the names of the cards, you'd be like, no, really? So consider this a super duper tease. Lilith, Gateway is gonna come next. Update this first for your information. But anyway, there is a certain artist working on 2 certain cards, and that's basically as much as I can tell you. At this stage, there will be more scoops in the art department later on, but I think Krembler and the team, they know exactly how to, you know, keep you excited. So just relax and wait. There's gonna be scoops coming later. Will it be Liga? I cannot say. I am not allowed to say anything about anything right now. And we still have some unconfirmed cards. As you could see, we're still floating around the 10% or kind of mark for unconfirmed cards, unlocked cards in a way for system update as well. So the art might be changing a bit, the art might be changing the theme or the title. So it's not a bad thing, because December is still quite a ways off. Of course, there's the summer season, people going on holidays if they can, or just taking a time off if they can, because of, you know, like summer. This is the period where people usually slow down a bit, but we got slowed down a lot. Lennon's got a question. I assume that means progress is happening, but at a slower pace, not that we are at 0% art availability. Of course, I mean, Gateway will still be mentioned, and art will definitely be mentioned on the Gateway front as well. We're first doing system updates, so to speak. And then the final department I can share information from with you is the rules department. So right now, Jade and the team are working on the comprehensive rules update supporting system update and editing the card text for potential system update cards. Because there are still some cards that are, again, not locked down. You may have heard it a while ago on the stream, like 10 seconds ago. So they're still working on making sure that these are actually ready to go. So the need for a system update, the final, like the completely locked down, ready to go system update card list is big. It's gonna happen. They're working on it. That's it. Let's hop over to... Oh no, I should totally share this, right? Yeah, I'm gonna share this with you. I'm totally gonna put this link into the chat right now. So this is for you in case you want to take a look at it. And I'm gonna hop over to the other tab, which is System Gateway. So week 30 for System Gateway, quite a few updates, including updates from Jonni from the game design side, but we're going to get there at the very final. We're going to kind of frame the whole stream with Jonni's appearance in the beginning and then updates in the very end for System Gateway. So what is happening in System Gateway? Game dev and playtest are searching for solutions for keeping IDs at certain values. I'm not going to mention the values here without breaking the game. That sounds big. Yeah, that's a big challenge here. Good luck to them. I'm pretty sure they can figure it out. And they're also working on a version of a certain card trying to keep the trash theme. I'm not going to give you the name of the card, but it's going to be completely new. So this is System Gateway. All the stuff is new. So all the IDs have certain values that have to be figured out, and a certain card is going to have a trash theme, and I don't know what that's going to mean. Is it the corp card trashing things? Is it the runner card trashing things? What is it? I don't know. I cannot tell you. I have no idea. The game dev folks and the playtest folks have finished the full playtest proxy files for printing, so all the playtesters can get their proxies printed completely and playtest them for System Gateway. That's a great step forward in making sure that we can actually test System Gateway thoroughly in its current version. Then the game design team is discussing, so basically Jonni and the crew are discussing things with game development and the playtest team on various new card proposals to System Gateway from the lead designer. Indeed, so Jonni's working on some additional stuff in there to make sure that we can actually wrap things up, and this is kind of the 10% we've been talking. Oh no, that was system update. What am I talking about? This is a different percentage of cards. Don't listen to me. The coffee's wearing off. For the other parts of System Gateway here, version 3x/version 4 hopefully will be finished next week with a handful of changes between the versions, including a certain card and probably the HB ID. A completely new HB ID. Lillian saying, surely we should aim for good theme rather than intentionally garbage theme. Yeah, no, don't be sorry. This is a very good thing. Badumts. Yeah, indeed. I love a good joke. I love a good pun. This was good. Thank you. And again, same thing. Like we already mentioned this for update. Same thing applies for Gateway. Playtesting slowed down because of Continentals. And hey, guess what? If it's a big tournament with exciting things happening, you want to be a part of it, of course. So hoping to have more playtesting happening, but in the meantime, the playtesters are going to be performing miracles of gameplay during the Continentals, and I'm really excited to see them do that during the upcoming Africa and Europe Continentals this weekend, which I'm going to mention at the very, very end. Hop over to art and graphics. So they're working on Wayland Ice, new cards for System Gateway, nearing completion, so the whole suit should be ready soon. An update from a certain artist was received regarding all the runner IDs. And I've seen some of them, I think, and yeah, fun stuff. Cannot tell you anything. I'm sorry, I really wish I could, but the Scoop season is gonna be upon us at some point. And the final criminal art card art briefs, as in the stories behind the cards, kind of the way the artists get drawn into making a piece of art for a card. Is basically you have the description of what could be on the card, how it could look and whatnot. So a certain artist is getting that for some criminal cards, because Crambler and the team are keeping a theme, and they're keeping certain artists working on certain bunches of cards to make it more thematical and more coherent. Also, what got finished this week actually, HB cards agreed on with a certain artist, no names given, and a certain criminal event card has completed its art. Like it's ready to be printed as well, and it looks quite nice. Scoops of this artistic type or kind will be coming your way in the next few months. Worry not, there's more to come your way. Okay. Lilland in the chat talking about LAT. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, that's good feedback, and it's good to, yeah, fair enough. So basically, I'm gonna say something possibly mean, but I hope feedback was received on how flat LAT, well, you cannot spell flat without LAT, you know, I'm sorry. So how flat LAT looked given to how pivotal IDs are when it comes to art. Yeah, I mean, the art styles will differ, and I think it's one of the nice but also challenging sides of delivering good art or choosing art for the cards. It's good to have it diverse and varied and kind of make it colorful. But yeah, we have to figure out how to make the IDs funky and special and exciting, and I think there's going to be some updates on that. Jumping on into System Gateway, and I will try to get Krembler, I will try to get the art folks to talk on stream as well at some point about, you know, the process, how it works, different challenges and so on, and because it's super interesting, and I know some of it, I have no idea about many parts of it. So currently working on comprehensive rules, updating support gateway. So again, comprehensive rules, this huge document, which is like, I don't want to say the Bible, but it's like the reference book for all things Netrunner when it comes to rules, which is a huge work of love and passion and genius in many ways. I say it honestly and consciously. It's just, I wouldn't be able to write even 5 pages of this, and there's like 90 plus of pages of this, and there's going to be more because Gateway is coming and update is coming. And the Learn to Play guide, this was already mentioned last week, so the rules team are working on it. Thanks for that as well, because this is going to be crucial for Gateway to make sense to people. Like, you know, how do I play this game? What is it all about? Why should I play this game? Is it exciting? Yes, yes, yes. Of course, answers to all this are yes, or much lengthier and with many paragraphs, but this will be coming in the guide. And game design. So what we had Jonni for in the first hour of the stream, which was awesome. And now you can actually see those names, and I will not be spoiling them because this already happened, so I'm just going to drop this in the chat, and that's okay, and you already heard them. But if you haven't heard them, so the game design team has listened to feedback from testers and worked ahead on a change list for game development to use during the process of testing and developing future versions of cards, basically, in general. Continued exploration of mechanics for caches. It's going to be Johnny Cash playing a guitar. You heard it here first. Early Project Bijou designs getting prepped for webcam testing. Webcam testing! Exciting! And Project Bijou, no idea what it is, seriously. The Eiffel Tower as a beanstalk, as the next beanstalk. Le beanstalk, as somebody said in the chat, absolutely right. Bash's vote sheet nearing completion for a hopefully final game development approval process, after which all of our focus will be on caches in Project Bijou. So this is basically how fast or how much ahead the game design team is looking. Like, you know, we're talking here about Gateway and update, and we're already talking about the next thing after Ashes getting almost completed for all the other teams to work on, and then Caches, which is the thing after Bashes, obviously, logically, and Project Bijou, which is something special. I cannot tell you anything about it because I don't know. Really, I don't know, and I'm not kidding. And then also the game design team are working on the documentation for the general game design team in the form of a design skeleton for caches. So there's going to be some extra things in there because, yeah, the more people work on this, the more they learn, the more they put things together, the more knowledge there is to be shared, the more experience we get, and that's all super exciting. But documenting things is key in any organization for sure. And then providing support to game development for Gateway. This was something that, of course, Johnny mentioned as well during their appearance here on stream earlier on. Thank you so much, Johnny. One more final time. And yeah, it's all about making sure that all the other teams working on the products, on the different sets of cards, know exactly where we're going with this. And it's a cross-departmental, cross-team effort along many lines. Talking about things and figuring out good processes within the design team itself to better contribute for future content as well. So basically that's it. We're learning from the experience. This is something that Johnny mentioned as well. We're learning as we're rolling this out. We're learning as we're working on many things. We can only hope to improve. There will be mistakes made, or there will be stuff that we will have to roll back or fix somehow. That just happens. It happens with huge projects by thousands of people. It can also happen with a small fan project of 50 plus people working on things in their spare time and putting their passion and effort into it. And I know that you understand it. I'm just making it here clear on the stream, but I do know that our community is absolutely awesome and people are very understanding and very patient with a lot of stuff. So thank you so much for that, and thank you for supporting the game. And I'm gonna finish this. Well, no, there's gonna be one more, but like, yeah, what Jonni and team are hoping to finish next week. Gathering up early concepts for Project Bijou, the secret Project Bijou. I could actually spoil it here, which is super good to talk about. At least the name, you can have all the wild ideas you want. And then get some webcam playtesting in progress for that next week already. And what are the challenges? Well, it's always tough to get everyone on the same page about anything, let alone Netrunner design. And that's very true. That is very, very true. I totally agree. And as a person that has been trying to get people not even in NISEI, not at all. It's just in many, many different places for many different reasons. And you probably have similar experiences, dear folks. It's always hard. It's always hard to find the middle ground. It's always hard to get, you know, buy-in or to get people supporting certain things and so on, because everybody has an opinion, everybody has an idea, everybody has something to say about it, and that's cool. But yeah, to move onward, we do have to make sure that we actually sort stuff out and get things rolling and keep going with it. And this is going to be it from me today. I may have a ton of different things popping up in my Discords and everywhere else. I will be catching up with you later on, but now I really have to run because I have things to attend, places to go, people to see, and that's not gonna happen if I'm not there. So, without further ado, thank you so much for being here on stream and spending time with me and with Jonni talking about design and other things. Thank you for all the questions. I will, for the last final time, invite you to the Africa and Europe Continental Championships happening this weekend. You still have time to come up with some decks and sign up until Friday. Everything is on Always Be Running. Everything is on Always Be Running. So do check Always Be Running, the best resource, and do check Near Earth Hub as well. Near Earth Hub, .net. Very good resource for Netrunner players, and not only old and new, experienced and totally fresh. Do check it out. Great community resource. Thank you, Dan, for putting it together. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it from me for today. Thank you so much for all the kind words in the chat and outside of the chat. I hope you're going to have a good time. I hope you're going to go through the pandemic with a smile, because damn the pandemic. There's only so much we can handle, and we have to, of course, be respectful of all the different things happening. Absolutely, always be respectful. That's my, you know, that's my theme. But yeah, it is tough for many people in many different ways. I just wish you all the best to you and yours. Stay strong, keep doing the right things, keep safe, stay safe, help others as much as you can or as much as it makes sense. And yeah, stick around. We're gonna get through this. It's gonna be fine. I'm gonna finish this with a quick shout out to Synchro SG. Thank you so much for joining. Get those Continental tickets, people. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be great. I'm logging off, giving you one final hack the planet. No, always be streaming, people. Always be streaming. That's it. If you want to stream, and if you don't want to stream, you should try streaming. It's loads of fun. Take care and see you around. Bye bye.